Mealy, I have two problems.
What are those?
I really love the show Unprofessional Development, and I have a big blank spot on my chest where my shirt is.
First of all, the first one doesn't sound like a problem.
I mean, it's so much love, I can't contain it.
And you also have what, a blank spot on your chest?
Yeah, where my shirt is.
You never grew chest hair?
Obviously not.
Oh, I know what you should do. You should go to this link in the show notes and get an Unprofessional Development t-shirt.
Gasp! That sounds like exactly what I needed for this premise.
So boys and girls, we have t-shirts.
We have magnets. We
Yes.
have buttons.
Show your unprofessional love. That way you'll get to know who your fellow unprofessionals are when you're walking down the hallway and go, oh, you listen to that too?
Be an unprofessional representative. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very dramatic episode of Unprofessional Development. I'm Tedesco.
And I'm Mealy. And today we have with us Miss Drama, okay? By the way, some of you who would like to be on our podcast are worried that you will be fired or sued or murdered. You can always come on with...
into the sun.
Yes, you can come on with anonymity and we will just call you by some pseudonym. Look at me looking... Look at my big vocabulary there. Saying
Used
pseudonym.
anonymity and pseudonym. Wow.
No, I'm so impressed. So we have Miss Drama with us, and we're very excited. How are you doing, Miss Drama?
Doing well. How are y'all?
Good. I'm doing super good. Yes. You know, I was telling Tedesco earlier, just based on the way our school schedule is, and we've had some snow days and final exams, I haven't done hardly anything teaching wise for many, many weeks. So
Nice.
it is really, really nice. I am not stressed out at all. And I will have
And
to.
as I was telling Mealy, I also haven't done anything teaching-wise in a while, but that's just because I teach English.
There you go. Yeah, read this, write that. Okay.
Yeah. What should I do? Read more.
Yes. Oh, I've already read. Then write about it. Oh, you want to write about that? Write about something else. Okay, that's
Right.
fine.
And then make somebody else read it.
And then
Exactly.
read what someone else analyzed, and then analyze their analyst.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
How do I analyze? Well, you read.
Yeah. Wow, that's good. You should be a professor for a college for English teachers, Tedesco. You know.
I should just publish a book on lit theory. And I don't think anybody will notice that I don't know anything.
Nice.
You have to understand, the interpretation really isn't about the author, but about the self.
Oof, that's deep.
If I just keep stringing together words, it sounds collegiate.
It does. It does. So anyway, we like to have our guests do their own kind of introductions in various forms. And Miss Drama has taken this on with a vengeance. But we are going to, since she is Miss Drama, have her describe her education journey as, and this is what shows you I know about Shakespeare, as a Shakespeare 5-act, the outline. One of the few things I remember about Shakespeare is that he had 5 acts.
Favorite theater thing, but I was like, okay, I can do this anyways. All right. Okay, so I decided to go with a Hamlet-esque theme, just because I am the main character. For the first act, I just decided to do the backstory, if you will, that 10-minute part in Up that just explains Carl and his life. That's Act 1.
Okay.
That's just me, growing up and just being, the teacher kid. So I was just, that kid on the playground that was we're gonna play school, I'm gonna be the teacher, you're
Nice.
gonna read this. And then I also had a younger brother, so then I had someone to torture as my student in my own home.
Nice.
Cool.
So I read to him a lot. And I've just been always very, type A, just was very good in school. I remember, in the 9th grade, I, cried hysterically because I got my first B.
Oh.
My mom was like, are you okay? Because my parents were really bad in school. Both of them had to take summer school at one point.
Oh, my.
And so I was just, I just feel like I'm type A, very, stereotypical teacher personality, just even as a young child.
Nice.
And then so Act 2 is sort of oh, okay, she likes this, this an actual career choice thing. So in the 5th grade, we had the opportunity to sign up to assist in the younger classes, the pre-K, kindergarten, 1st grade type area. And so I was oh, I have to apply for this, and you had to actually fill out a little application. It was really cute. I took it super serious. It was very hardcore about getting my recommendation letters and this, cute stuff. At 10 years old, I was like, who are my references? So I do that.
Mother, would you write a reference?
Yes.
Yeah. So I did that. And then my first job was at an after-school program. I think I was like a senior or junior in high school. So I just got to do like homework help and like stuff like that. And got to drive to the elementary school after school. So I got to do more school after my school.
Nice.
Very, very confident going into college. It's like, okay, I want to be an early childhood major. I specifically want to teach kindergarten. Like I was one of those weird kids who like decides what they want to do with the rest of their life when they're 8 and doesn't change.
Wow. Yeah, that's a rare bird. That is a rare bird.
Yeah. So very, very rare bird. I feel like we're probably going extinct.
Is this more of an Up reference?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Look at the themes I'm tying in.
Nice.
Motifs. So, Act 3 is the bunch of plot twists start happening.
Nice.
And in addition to just being this, like, perfectionistic child, I was very much the performance child also. But I was just thinking, like, okay, like, I still want to teach kindergarten, but I'll just incorporate a lot of, like, theater and music things. So, we'll do a lot of call and response, and we'll be very play-based, and we'll do, like, kind of Montessori things. I went to a college that's very well known for their theater program. Okay. And I just, like, kind of, watched a lot of my friends be acting majors and, like, be in shows, and I was like, oh, wow, that was really fun. I kind of missed that. But I was like, okay, I don't want to be a professional actress. Ever. Just no. But I think I want theater to be a little bit a bigger part of my life. So I auditioned for the theater program, and I didn't think I would get in, honestly, just because, like, I did theater in high school, but like I said, I was more of a choir person, so I wasn't really, like, getting a lot of, like, lead roles or whatever, which is, fine.
It's tough when you leave a small pond that you don't really know how big you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got in, and I was kind of surprised, honestly, that I got into the School of Theater. But I did. And then I learned that, because this college is so small, and like, okay, I have to caveat for a minute. When I say this college is small, I literally graduated with like 300 people.
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
Education majors, there's no more than 30 of us at any given time, and that's like K-12, all content areas, like just elementary and early childhood, and it's very, very small. Like my methods class, my methods and speech drama debate teaching class was me and my professor.
Wow.
Wow.
That was really nice.
We're gonna dig into that in a little bit, but we're gonna.
That's been awkward when you cut class, though.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Judy, I don't think I'm going to be in today. Just like, I don't know. But I mean, I really liked the individualized attention I got.
Well, can we pause there for a minute? So, like, would you do stuff like, hey, I've got a thing next Wednesday. Can we just have class like an hour early or an hour late?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because, like, I had other classes here before.
Wow.
Okay.
So really, I got to, like, direct the course by myself.
Yeah.
I mean, her guidance, obviously, she's the queen. My methods teacher, literally have to praise her for a minute. Her name is Judy Palladino, and she has been working in children's theater for over 30 years. Like, she probably directed over 85 plays. She's been acting.
Is she related to Amy Palladino? Do you know? Do you know who that is?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. That is the creator of Gilmore Girls. So,
yes. No, I do know that. Okay, yes. But no, I don't think they're related. But she was incredible. I'm, like, forever grateful. Because she retired pretty much right after I graduated. So it was her last one. Yeah, so anyway, so that was awesome. But I had to double major, which, oof. I graduated magna cum laude, still on time.
Woohoo!
Still on time.
Nice.
Kind of whack, but all right. And then, okay, so more plot twists. So a second plot twist is I finally do my student teaching in March of 2020.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Very fun, because, like, right after spring break, it was like the time where I was supposed to like take over all the classes and do like the full-time part.
Yeah.
So I had like sent my like mentor teacher all my lesson plans, and I was going to take spring break to really like go through like each activity and just like really, iron it out, if you will. Like steam press it, I guess. Now I'm using fabric metaphors, it's going all over the place. And then, COVID hit, everything's canceled. So I'm like, okay, I need to use this time wisely, use it productively. So I basically started like pre-planning for when I started teaching, because I really wanted to avoid like the classic, like Sunday night first teacher panic, if you will. Maybe that's not a first year teacher thing. We'll pretend like it is though. Just for those at home. So I was like planning this, and I was like, hey, I wonder if there's anything like drama related on TPT. So I go on there, and they're like, kind of is, but it's mainly like readers theater scripts for elementary.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, there's not really any like drama, and there's even less for like debate and public speaking. So I just plan away, also like kind of made it a survival job because I didn't have any other income.
Mm-hmm.
So I get my teaching certification in September, and so I end up just subbing, which was awesome. I actually really enjoyed subbing, and still do, as I do.
And you're not being sarcastic.
No, I'm absolutely not being sarcastic. I mean, like,
Wow.
there's certain schools where I'm like, I never want to come back here, but a lot of them I really enjoyed, and I did 3 different long-term subbing positions, including one that was completely virtual.
Okay.
So I got more middle school experience because I hadn't had a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, did you sub in person or did you sub virtually?
Both.
How do you sub virtually?
It was really weird. So they gave me a device like I would have if I was like a full on teacher. And it was even for a subject I'm not certified in, which is kind of weird.
Right.
I sent for geography virtually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was weird. So they just gave me a device from the district, gave me all the login stuff, like kind of as if I was a staff member, but I didn't have to do any lesson planning, which was nice. I did have to do parent-teacher conferences, which was very strange. Mm-hmm. Because, like, the person I was getting my lesson plans from is my best friend's fiance.
Okay.
Yeah. And, because his co-teacher quit, so he was like, hey, I need somebody to come, fill in for this person. You'll just use my lesson.
So you were like a long-term sub.
Yeah, so I was a long-term
Oh,
sub.
that makes way more sense. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I probably should have clarified. These were all long-term.
No, that was probably pretty common sense if I actually stepped back and thought, but I wasn't about to do that.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's not me.
Yeah, so I did that. I really liked subbing, still do. But then, this current school year came around, and I was like, okay, well, time to go, find my drama job. So I did, and I was really optimistic. And, I mean, you can go through my whole Twitter and just, like, see my journey, basically, of how, like, I was really excited. And then the school I was at, like, for lack of a better word, was kind of a hellscape.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your Act 4?
Yes, that's Act 4. Sorry, we're in Act 4. Which is the climax, if you will, of the show. So I ended up resigning before Thanksgiving break.
Wow, that bad.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm gonna get emotional. And, like, it's not that I didn't have any good experiences or memories, because I did. Mm-hmm. But overall, it was so bad that I was just like, I have to quit, or I'm gonna get to a really dangerous mental health place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, that was one of the things that really, it's kind of weird. It's like, hey, there's someone that's been in like a car accident. We should have them on the show. But like, I really wanted to have someone who, there are a lot of teachers that are, for lack of a better word, on the spectrum from like wanting to quit, having quit, about to quit, and all of that. So, that I really want to have, I kind of like break that down. I do want to get into the drama aspect of your teaching as well, but I do think we want to definitely dig into like the whole process and the decision making, and because it's not an easy decision, obviously.
No.
It was hard. And then Act 5 to wrap us up is sort of a bit of an ambiguous ending, just because I'm 23, not 73 or 83.
Right.
I've still got a little ways to go. Thankfully. So hopefully there'll be a little bit of a redemption story, but it kind of depends on how you define redemption. Because, like I could get a teaching job somewhere else, then, just try again. Or I could still be in educational theater, but not in a classroom setting. So like in the children's theater division of regional theater or just a children's theater. Both of those are probably going to be me leaving the state, which I was going to do anyway. But I was there's a lot to it, but I was like sort of waiting it out for some family stuff. But I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you certified as like just not like just a drama teacher, but like, is it a drama certification?
Yes. So I am certified K-12 in speech. So that's not speech pathology. That's like public speaking, drama, and debate.
Wow. Okay.
So
yeah, it's all like one certification in Oklahoma because there's so few of us that they just combine.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I can do like oral interpretation, and there's a lot in there. To be honest, just like in this particular subject field, even I mean, like it's several subjects. I expected that I will never receive curriculum ever.
Right.
So that's part of the reason why I started writing it myself. I think it was like 2 or 3 days before the first day of school. I found out that it was going to be separate drama classes and a separate speech class, and then no like formal debate class. But if I wanted to, I could put the debate in either one of those classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's confusing because I thought that like the job listing was like the speech drama debate class. So all three were going to be in one class, and I would just have like mixed grade levels, and that's not what happened at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's fun.
I had to like, oh god.
Yeah, it's weird. There's all these like structures and rules, and sometimes there's ways to get around them, and sometimes you can do certain things, and it's weird because
it's like advertising for a history position and then not saying what kind of history. So just hire a history teacher and then being like, okay, you're going to teach ancient civilization, U.S. history, and AP Euro. Have fun.
Yep. That definitely happens.
It definitely happens, unfortunately.
Well, I'm sure it does.
Yes, or they say, hey, you're going to be teaching this, and then guess what? Then someone who's been at that school longer than you says, you know what? I've been waiting to teach those things until that other teacher retired, and I know you offered it to that person you just hired, but you need to give that to me now, and I carry clout at this school, and so that new person that you just hired, they're going to have my garbage schedule that I don't want anymore. That's definitely happened as well, hasn't it, Tedisco?
Yes. Quite unfortunately. All right, so in your drama classes, we've had on people who use drama and who use improv, but I don't think we've had on as a guest like a full-blown drama teacher.
No, I don't believe so either. No.
So what is the drama of the drama classes then? And what do you focus on? Do you focus on like dramatic techniques or improv or dramatic history?
Well, I think in my experience and hearing about the experience of like my friends who were acting majors when they were in their high school and middle school theater programs, I found that a lot of them are very acting heavy. And so like it's not necessarily a drama class, it's like an acting class that they're calling drama. When I was teaching, this was their first year to have a drama program, and I would say 98% of my students have never seen a play before.
Wait, what's the difference between acting and drama?
I think I use drama as like a broader term, so I include like technical theater, so that's like costuming, scenic, lighting, theater history.
Gotcha. Things beyond just the performative aspect.
Yeah, like that's a lot. It's a lot more broad than just acting. So, like, I kind of think about it as, like, spokes on a wheel, if you will, and, like, the whole wheel is drama, and then acting is just one spoke. Also, 95% of my kids did not want to be in the class. And let me know that they did not want to be. So I tried as much as I could, like you're asking about differentiation, I tried as much as I could to give a lot of choice and just almost make it more of like a creativity class, if you will. So like example, like one of the like projects I had them do was I gave them a Google Doc and it had just a bunch of people's photos on them. So just from like Google Images and just all sorts of people, all different races, genders, ages, just all different stuff. And we went over what costume croquis are. So it's basically like a figure and you draw the costume on top. And so I said, okay, I want you to pick a person from this list of people, and I want you to draw a costume for them, and then I want you to tell me, like, based with your costume, what is that person like? What's their story? So they kind of had to come up with a character, like, based on just their initial thoughts about this person, based on what they look like, and the costume that they put on this person.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun, and they really seemed to like that one. Some of them picked people that looked a lot like them, and then some people picked people that were very different from them. It's very, like, imaginative, and it was just, I tried my best to sort of, like, connect a little social-emotional piece about, like, judging people by what they look like, or, judging people before you get to know them. So,
that's really cool.
I thought that was fun. That was probably one of my favorite things I did.
Yeah.
I always remember my drama classes. We learned like the history of drama and like different forms of drama. Like we talked about, ancient Greek and commedia dell'arte and kabuki and different, forms of theater. And then we just read like Cherry Orchard and Uncle Vanya and other things written by sad Russian men.
Oh.
And I hated all of that.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah.
Sad Russians is its own genre.
Oh gosh.
Are there any happy Russians?
There are drunk Russians. Does that count?
I guess so.
Russia's two key exports are vodka and dead Russians. So
nice. Oh,
that's not. That's just history. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. They like the Greek theater stuff.
What about Mikhail Baryshnikov? Is he Russian?
Yeah, he ran away.
Okay.
He came to America because they told him he had to stop dancing.
Okay, but he didn't die, or did he die? Yeah. Eventually, he will.
Yes, he died eventually. Anyway, I'm sorry, we're interrupting you.
It's okay. I was gonna say, like, when we talked about Greek theater a little bit, and we talked about Oedipus Rex, so we could draw like masks. I explained like theater people have been masking before we have. Haha.
There you go.
I don't know, Oedipus Rex. I remember one of my kids was like, "Wait, he does what?" And I was like, "Yup, they were weird."
Nice.
I was student teaching. I had my kids read Oedipus Rex, and they loved it.
Nice. It's a good one.
Nice. What age was it that you were teaching?
I was teaching middle school, so
Okay.
we had 5th grade at the school, but I did 6th to 8th grade.
Okay.
It's really weird. So, like, the 5th graders are at the same building, but they rotate electives.
Right.
There's more than 4 electives. Like, they rotate quarterly, so they decided not to give me them.
Okay. Cool.
So it was weird. I had my 5 classes in my plan, and then I had one other class that I just wasn't assigned a class. So I either took advantage of basically having 2 plans, helped our dance teacher because her classes had like 35 in them. Yeah, or covered almost every day.
Yeah.
And what was your average class size? Because I know a lot of electives teach, or we call them electives. I know they're called different things in different places. But our electives teachers, some of them are just dump classes where they'll get like 30, 40 kids in a class.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that wasn't happening to me as much as it was to the other electives teachers. And I don't know why. I mean, like, I'm grateful, like, not gonna lie, but I think my biggest one was like 23.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah,
it's manageable.
Very reasonable. Yeah, manageable, except like I was at a really rough inner city school.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So definitely could have used help.
I know the counselors have their challenges as well. When there's kids that they're like, so what do you want to take? Nothing. Like, no, what are you interested in? Nothing. So they have to give them a class. But it is sad that there are so many kids, whatever it be. I talk to art teachers, drama teachers, all sorts of elective teachers, where kids just end up in these classes just because they have a hole in their schedule and they have to take.
Was like, there seemed to be no hard deadline for schedule changes ever. So I would have kids trying my class for literally one day, deciding they didn't like it, and being removed.
Oh, wow.
What?
Oh.
Yes.
That sounds like not a good idea. So kids are just basically
That's insane.
Literally, the day before I left, I got a new student, and I was like, oh, are you new to the school? And she was like, no, I've been here. I'm like, it's November 19th. Why is your schedule being changed?
Because my mom sent an email to the principal.
But like that, in that sort of school with that challenging population, don't admin have better things to do?
Right. And it's just like, of course they don't want to like perform or like showcase, anything that they've done creatively in front of each other. They don't know each other.
Right.
They're strangers. And, they're already in middle school. They're too cool for everything. So.
Yeah. So there's a drama teacher at my school. Okay. That's a really small sample size. But she is one of the most dramatic people that I know. There's things like, oh, I can't believe it. And like, and granted, the drama teachers that you're listening, please don't get mad at me. But
don't at me.
Yeah, don't at me. And I do understand that their life, like, first of all, here's one of the things with drama teachers. Hey, the auditory music classroom, until we decide we want to do something else. And then we're just going to dump people into your classroom. Yes. Oh, we're having a meeting, by the way, and we've decided that you have to make sure that the sound and the lights work for the meeting that we're going to have. That's not part of your, you know what I mean? And so, but anyway, she still is very dramatic. And then I would talk to kids who were in the play and in plays like that. And I've noticed a common theme that they're just dramatic. About everything is very, extreme. So when you were in college and with some of the kids I know who are in that class because they really do want to be into drama, and have you found, am I crazy? Am I stereotyping or do you find some truth in that?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll get more dramatic as I get older, but I feel like I'm pretty chill, for now.
Okay.
But I definitely learned, the hard way in terms of, kids, especially when it comes to, casting plays and stuff. Because I did do a play while I was there, and it was really fun. I had a good time with it overall. But I learned, no matter how, good they are, or you think they have a lot of potential, if they are a drama queen in your class or any other class, do not cast them.
Yep.
So I learned that the hard way.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I also learned, if you have said that they have to turn in a permission form from their parents to be in the play, and they don't turn it in, do not cast them just because you need people.
Oh.
We were, so how I did it is, we rehearsed in person with masks, and then I got the rights for this. Just quick caveat: I have full legal permission to do everything. Drama teachers, please read your contracts, know your rights. But so we rehearsed in person with masks, and then we filmed it, and we kind of mock live streamed it. So I did a Zoom or a Google Meet, and I just shared the video of the play. So I sort of mock live streamed it, but the kids thought it was really cool. They're like, "Live streaming!" I was like, "It's not live, but all right." And so we're literally we're filming. It's our one filming day, and the play is 20-25 minutes long. It's pretty short. And this kid, we're gonna call him John, comes in, and he's like, "Yeah, my mom said I can't stay after school today. I gotta go. I gotta catch the bus." And I was like, I need you to call her right now because we're filming today. And she knows we're filming today because she emailed me this morning saying, you have permission to videotape my child. So she knows we're filming today. Call her back right now. I didn't yell.
Right.
But I was like, oh my god. So calls her back. This kid did not get picked up until an hour and a half after when he was supposed to get picked up.
Oh no.
Because that permission form said you need to pick up your child by this time.
Yeah. Oh.
And I told her that in my diary scene.
Yep.
It's 5:30. Please be here at 5:30 because I would like to go home now. So
yeah, I am so glad that I teach high school and I do monitor a club, but I just kick them out of my room and I don't worry about how they get home, honestly. But if you're the
middle school is a different beast.
A middle school is a different thing, and if you're over the play or a sports team or whatever, it's you are on the hook till the last parent, and there's always going to
very, very last.
Yes, and there's always going to be one that is going to be there, and it's going to be annoying. I
do not miss that.
Well, it was scary because
yes, you live with me now. That's the story. That's what happened. Sorry, I'm now your parent. It's
my favorite part was just thinking in the back of my head. Okay, so here I am alone with a child.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, thankfully,
let's live stream this.
There are witnesses.
Exactly.
Yeah, there are a lot of people there after school still that day, just for sports and different things. But I could not get a hold of his parent or guardian. I mean, I went into our automated system or even a campus, whatever y'all use, Power School. I called every single adult on this thing, and of course, none of them are picking up the phone. So we finally get a hold of Mom. Mom's like, okay, I can be there in 30 minutes, da-da-da. I'm like, oh, God. So I'm calling my principal, just being like, I gotta go home. I got, my fish is gonna die. I got stuff to do. Yeah. And she's like, he can come hang out in my office. It's cool. You can go home. I was like, okay, good. So we go in there. So bye little Johnny. See you Monday. Trying to I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. Control your face. It's not your fault. You're 11. But I was upset.
Yeah. It's frustrating. It is.
Oh yeah.
It is. So, what did you say? What percentage of your kids wanted to be in the drama class?
Wanted to be in class? Oh, very few. I don't want to be 5%, but 5%.
That's
and
tough.
I think part of it is, like I said, a lot of them, most of them had never seen a play before. They didn't really know what it was. So it's sort of a fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
So watch some clips, not full shows, because I didn't, want to get accused of having to sit there and watch YouTube all day.
Right.
And that's not who I am as a teacher either.
Yes.
So we watched little things, and we discussed oh, how do you think they did that? Effect, or let's go about the costume, or why are they wearing blue? And just kind of some interest stuff, just to kind of get used to being creative. Because the sad thing is a lot of these kids haven't had any art stuff since elementary school, so they're in 8th grade and they haven't had a music class in 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So they've forgotten what it's to be creative, or they forget that you're allowed to be subjective sometimes.
Yeah, that there's not necessarily a right answer. Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Is this right?" And I was like, "I don't know. Do you think it's right?" And they were like, "No. Tell me. Am I gonna get an A? Is this correct?" And I was like, It's creative. It's whatever you want, dude.
Yeah.
You did it. You tried. I can tell you're at least, trying to apply these concepts of character and conflict, and you're doing your best. I'm not gonna be super hardcore.
Right.
About it. And they were like, yeah, but is it correct? And I was like, yes. You know what? It's correct. It's great. It's great. Because I was that kid. That's the kind of...
you want that affirmation, right?
I want to know if I'm getting an A. Is it a 99 or 100? What can I do?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. out of the way. And so just go get into something. I am more hashtag ungrading every day. The more I see, I'm like, it is just, it just doesn't lead to learning. It leads to just people being focused on things other than the actual content and learning. Cause it's like, okay.
I mean, like, I tried to be really lenient. Like, I didn't take any points for late work, like, no matter how late it was, and sometimes it was real late. And, you know, as long as they did it, and you know, put a name on it, and I didn't have to go track it. Well, okay, not that I took off points for names either, but, like, no, as long as they at least tried, I was like, all right, looks good, go for it.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, you had fun, you feel creative, you got to make decisions. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the name of the game, and they're learning. That's the biggest thing.
Because, like, that's the thing. Like, they don't trust their own decision making.
Yeah.
And then, you know, give them a high school diploma, and we're like, choose a major, and they're like, wait, what? I've never had this before. What is this? I don't know what I like to do for fun. What's fun?
Okay, so now, I guess we should give some kind of trigger alert. If school has really kicked you in the face recently, and you are just going to get emotional listening to someone else go through sharing how it kicked them in the face and why they're leaving teaching, we love you. You can stop listening now if that works for you. But we're going to kind of like let Miss Drama kind of share, because a lot of us need to hear this, like how and why like she decided that like that's enough. So do your best and know that we're here to be supportive. So go ahead.
Are you asking me like how I decided to resign?
Yeah, just kind of walk us through the last days, I guess, and how you got to from, hey, I'm doing my best, I'm trying, these kids are, you know, annoying and goofy and, you know, don't know anything, to like, I'm literally not gonna walk, I'm not gonna be here tomorrow.
Yeah. Oof. Okay. So, I'm about like a week and a half into school. And I'm like, dang, this is really hard.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about, like, I'm not necessarily talking about the teaching part. I'm like 70% talking about behavior.
Okay.
Like, okay, I'm gonna try my best to, like, just not talk crap on the school.
Right.
But it was just... oh, okay. It was just a school to where, like, me, like, at 23, with my current experience level and own personal background, growing up in a very different environment, it was just something I was not ready for.
Yeah.
And it was a thing to where, like, at this particular school I'm at, I would say about probably a third to 40%-ish of the staff are new.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm either the only traditionally certified or one of, like, 3 traditionally certified people. And just quick caveat with that, I'm not saying, like, alternatively or emergency certified people can't be good teachers.
Right.
But it certainly makes a difference if you are.
Yeah. They weren't even familiar with protocols, terms, the jargon, and all the things that yeah. Right.
And so, like...
And how many of them do you think were actually, like, there for the kids? And how many of them were just there because they needed to have a job?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. I don't want to make assumptions about anybody's
Yeah.
motivation.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, and so 70% of it is just like behavior. And then the other 15% of it is district stuff, which sounds like a dumb reason to quit your job, but as a drama teacher, we need access to certain materials, as all subjects do. Mm-hmm. But I can't go do a play if I can't get lumber to build sets.
Yeah.
And I can't, go to the thrift store and get a bunch of costumes.
Right.
And, just different stuff. So there's just this super convoluted crap with vendors and just irritating stuff. So that's that part is 15% of it. Mm-hmm. And also having no idea how sick leave works and all of that stuff just not being explained to me, and just good old other duties as assigned.
Mm-hmm.
And
would it be fair to say that you felt a little bit like you're on an island?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It doesn't sound like you had any supports.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not really. To be honest, I feel like my admin and the district generally uses the fact that people are traditionally certified to excuse them from having to give them support.
Okay.
Because, example, this I will throw a little bit of shade at, because I think this is unacceptable. So, my direct supervisor, my assistant principal, she was in my classroom, once for about 2 minutes in the first month or so of school. Just, hey, how's it going? Doing great, cool. Talk to you later.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only other time she was in my classroom, when I had kids in there, was when I was being observed.
Right.
And then my head principal was in there for the first time the day before I left. The day before the day that was supposed to be my last day. Yeah. And then, I get the call you into the office, hey, what could have we done? And I was well,
anything.
It's not rocket science, yeah, anything. And it was just it was just very poorly managed, and oh gosh, I feel like the more I talk about it, the more stuff I'm gonna think of, just because it literally feels like unraveling a ball of yarn.
Yeah.
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 Go deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
So, I was not given any IEP access or any modification accommodations list, except for 7th grade and for stuff that just involves state testing. And, it's a drama class. I don't really give, a multiple choice test.
Yeah.
And, of course, I would follow those accommodations if I was doing that, but it wasn't relevant. And, it was stuff I found out one of my 7th graders was reading on a kindergarten to 1st grade reading level the week before I left.
Mm.
And I had been suspecting that he was having a little bit of trouble, beforehand, but I didn't realize it was that bad. Yeah. So I had reached out to our reading specialist. I was like, hey, can I get some, tips? Do you think, having stuff, audiobooks would help of, plays and stuff or reading articles? Would that help? And just different stuff. They never got back to me. Yeah, I once covered a PE class that had 45 kids in it, by myself.
Oh.
Yeah. And the quick caveat of that is that there was one SPED teacher in there with her SPED kids, so about 12 of those kids were severe and profound SPED kids. I hope that's the right term now. I apologize.
It varies. I hear that, but I also hear we use exceptional children in North Carolina. But yeah, kids with special needs, and yeah, she wasn't able to assist you. She had her hands more than full.
No, and I didn't, want to put that on her, but it was a thing to where, literally just in this one class period, and this is 5th graders. Let me just put that there. I had 3 fights in 1 class period.
Wow.
Oof.
And then I was asked to cover that same exact class again.
So here's a question I want to kind of get to, because I know how this is. So the fight happened in drama class or in the PE class or somewhere else?
PE class. So this is I'm covering during that 8-hour.
And so then fights break out while you're there.
Yes.
And then you call security, or did you even know how to get someone there to get help?
That's the thing. I texted all of the principals and no one showed up.
Oh my God.
Usually the counselor comes because she's in the hallway and I'm like, hey, I need the student removed. What ended up happening is they had a talking to in the hallway, and then where the counselor had to go, cover, or, I'm sure they had other stuff to do. I say in air quotes. Yeah, so I get asked to cover that same exact class again. Obviously, oh God, semi-triggered because yikes.
Right.
Usually to put on my... And I know how to be authoritative, but at the same time, I'm 5 foot, 100 pounds,
Right.
So,
if that's not your style, that's not your style. You can't make yourself that style.
Yeah.
I've had that struggle before, too.
That's the thing. At this school, I am not a yeller. I really am not a yeller. And that's what they respond to. If you're not yelling, they don't think that you're serious.
Yeah.
Or,
which really shows how often teachers rely on that in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And nor is that healthy for you or them. Yeah.
Right. And so I was I just felt like who I am as a person and as a teacher. And that was in direct conflict with the type of teacher and person I was expected to be at this school.
Yeah.
Was just polar opposites. I'm not saying I'm the super permissive teacher to let them do whatever the heck they want, but I'm just really not here. So I'm subbing this class again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. And this time they're like, this psych substitute is going to be there with you, so you'll have another job. I was like, okay, so maybe it'll be cool. Psych sub is there on their phone. More fights are breaking out. I literally have to yell at my fellow adults to help me. Because, at this particular school, fights do not mean that you throw a couple punches and you're done. Fights mean you wail on the other kid as hard as you can until you're breaking their nose and their, eye socket bone, and you're just, until you are pulled apart, that's when you stop fighting at school.
Wow.
And these are 5th graders. These are 10-year-olds.
These are 5th graders.
Bashing each other in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
For sure.
Oh, I wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, so the second time...
I don't think I would have lasted till Thanksgiving. I think you're stronger than I am.
So the second time you experience that, it now... And I've been in schools where we've had a day of, multiple fights.
Yeah, we were
when it's multiple fights a day. There is just...
we had 3 simultaneously in various parts of the school. That was fun.
There's just an underlying tension for the anticipation for the next fight that is just soul-sucking.
Yeah.
And you're constantly then, anytime somebody raises their voice, which they're kids, they raise their voice a lot, by the way. They get excited about things. Your head is on a swivel and going, is this the next fight? And you're constantly, and you don't know if it's going to happen.
And that's a real mental, emotional weight that you're carrying around all day.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it's so sad, because I could tell, when some of my, especially my kids in the spectrum, and maybe my more introverted kids, I can tell when they're getting triggered by the classroom environment.
Yeah.
And, it's just, oh gosh, and I had my kids, getting arrested. For drugs and for fighting, and I'll let our viewers at home fill in the blanks, but, taking videos of each other using the restroom.
Yeah.
Oof.
This isn't cool.
Yeah.
This is, and it's scary because like you guys were saying about just sort of the the tension just always being palatable. Like, they're not used to having to regulate their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, like, I don't want to say consequences, but there's just no, like, boundaries for that at home a lot of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thankfully, a lot of the times in these situations, thankfully, when I was covering, I was not blamed for being able to not, for not being able to handle it. So I know that would happen at a lot of other schools.
Yeah.
But, like, I got asked to cover, like, emotionally disturbed rooms by myself.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
I have absolutely no experience in that.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Sorry.
there's such a snowball effect that I really am concerned, that's taking place right now, is that, teachers are either, I mean, some of them it's COVID related, but some people just not showing up and not coming in and doing that because that, like, the gym class that you had to cover twice. And I don't know the whole situation, but there's a chance that that teacher is like, listen, I need a day where I'm not breaking up fights, so I'm just gonna stay home tomorrow. You know what I mean?
I genuinely consider it a miracle that there was never a fight in my classroom. I definitely prevented at least 2 that I can think of.
Yeah. And
that's a success. Like, let's be honest. And a lot of groups and a lot of schools, like, that's a win.
I was going to say what happens then is what can happen. And it sounds like it maybe happened at school. I've taught with someone who taught at a school like that, where there becomes this attitude, and it sounds like it might even be pervasive into admin, is like, you guys need warm bodies so bad that I don't really need to do my job very well or even need to do it all the time. If I show up and half do my job 60% of the time, then you should consider that a favor that I'm here, and tough luck, because if you don't like that, your other choice is not having somebody. And
absolutely. Like, I checked the duty schedule about 2 weeks before I left, because I gave 2 weeks notice.
Right.
Which is more than a lot of teachers do.
Right.
Yeah. So I checked the duty schedule, and I saw that some people that I was assigned, like, the same duty with had not been showing up all semester. And I was asked at times to monitor entire grade levels by myself.
How is that even supposed to be possible?
Right.
Yeah. Just for people not showing up for their duty.
Yeah.
And so it appears that administration was not on it when it came to students or teachers being accountable.
Oh yeah, absolutely no accountability whatsoever. I never figured out how to assign lunch detention for 7th grade because all of the grades decided to do it separately and to have 4 different systems for how to assign lunch detention. Which, like, that sounds dumb, but, like, I was very, like, on it about calling home. I was calling probably 8 to 15 parents a day. There was one time where my worst class hour, I called every single parent.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
how many did you end up speaking to?
Perfect at this profession yet, obviously, or will ever be. But I did a lot of the things that, like I said, like you guys said, other people phone in. Like, I was the only teacher that was turning in their lesson plans every single week on time. Standards aligned. It was done. I was sending out a weekly newsletter to parents. Like, I was doing my best. Yeah. But, like, when you ask me, like, this overall question of, like, so what made you finally resign? Nothing in particular.
Mm-hmm.
I just was, like, one day, I was like, I'm tired of, like, shipping out a concrete pinata with a plastic spoon.
Yes.
That's how I felt. I was like, what else can I do? And that's the question we ask ourselves. We say, what else can I do? Because we, like, internalize then everything is our fault.
That I was going to ask you, was there a part of you that struggled and said, oh, these poor kids, if I leave, what's going to happen to them? And
Absolutely.
And and we do that to ourselves. And obviously they're actually not technically our responsibility, even though it feels like they're our responsibility. You know, so kind of walk us through like how that part of you and the feeling as if you were like leaving them in their own personal concrete, pinata as well, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I absolutely did feel that way, but I had to, what I told myself to sort of like reconcile for this, like after I had worked through, was like, what you are modeling for them right now is that if you're in an abusive situation, you need to leave, and you get to leave.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I modeled that for them.
Yeah.
Because the thing was, like, I remember my first couple weeks there, one of my kids was like, yeah, our teachers never stayed through the first year. And then when I told one of my classes that I had resigned, they proceeded to yell at me and cuss me out. That was my last day.
Yeah, I believe that, because they're coming from a place of hurt, and that's how they were expressing it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, this is how you treat your teachers, and then you're surprised when they leave.
Yeah.
I mean,
but they don't have,
like, honestly though, it's kind of a testament to who you were as a teacher and the environment you created, that, you know, that they were hurt and miss you.
They cared that I left. Like, honestly, genuinely, I did not think they were going to care.
It comes back to one of the truths that we talk about on here a lot, is that, and it doesn't mean you should have stayed. I think you made the wise choice, but that we don't always realize the positive impact we're making because the kids don't always tell us. And sometimes we find out later that we really had like a significant impact. And that's one of the wonderful things about the job. But there are times where it's just like, this is too much, and, you know, you have to, do what is going to be best for you, long term. And so I guess that leads us to, like, do we feel as if we're going to give it another go for like a full-time gig, or what, or we're going to try and find another profession? So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think right now that I'm kind of 80-20, so like 80% staying in like a classroom situation, and the other 20% would be like educational theater, not in a school setting. So like I was talking about like regional children's theater or stuff like that. I think I really just need to try another school.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like probably definitely another state.
Okay.
But also, you know, take your time. Like, you know, take your time to recover. There will still be teaching jobs 10 years from now.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. But I think you're definitely onto a couple of really big things here too. You know, without collegiality, it's so easy to internalize everything.
Yes.
And like, it's only by connecting with other teachers and having the time and having the ability to connect with other teachers that we can go like, oh, okay, everybody's dealing with this. It's not just me, because it feels like just you and it's you in the classroom. It really does.
Yeah.
And like I really tried my best. You know, like I went to sports, and, like out to, you know, to lunch with other teachers. I, you know, went to the PTA meeting, and then, you know, I did the thing.
You did more than I've done. But I mean, the other thing is, like, teaching is a traumatizing profession.
Oh yeah.
It is. Like, we are there for the kids, and we love them, but they don't know how to behave, and they don't know how to handle emotions and control themselves, and they make bad decisions, and it's traumatizing consistently. And it's okay to say, like, this is too much, you know, and in the wrong environment, it's just going to always be too much.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Cause like, it's not like I didn't have any positive memories. Like, excuse me, gosh, like I really enjoyed doing, the play that we did. And like one of my favorite memories is, and this isn't my funny story for later. This is just cute caveat. I had this girl I was like, she was in by far my worst class hour. And she would come up to me every day, like during a different passing period, like at some other point in the day. And she would give me a hug and be like, Miss, I just want you to know you're a good teacher.
Oh.
Oh. That's some love right there.
That is.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that is like, that's a testament of how awesome you were. And it doesn't mean that it's sustainable. And it doesn't mean that it treats you right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
She also apologized for the rest of her class, which was really funny. Like every day. She was like, yeah, these kids don't listen, and I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. I love those kids.
Yes.
You've always got those kids that comes to me. I don't know how you do it. You know? I definitely had that said to me. I don't know how many times. So,
I mean, thank you so much for sharing that story. And I know that's not an easy story to share. I really respect your bravery. I respect all of your hard efforts, despite the lack of support. You're awesome.
Yes. Yeah. And thank you for coming on. Like I said, that's what we really want, we want someone else is going to hear this and realize that it's not just them as well. And,
I hope so.
And definitely why I'll occasionally throw this out on Twitter, and if you're listening or whatever, however you want to get into contact. If you need to vent and you need to just dump, my DMs are always open. I cannot solve all of your problems, obviously, but I can definitely listen and tell you that that you're being heard and seen. So and I think that people need to do that. And I think that Twitter is a place where that can happen. Of course, some people still beat you up and tell you stupid stuff. I'm sure you
on the internet
that as well. Yes, on the internet.
All right, so we know even in the worst years that being in the classroom, there's always going to be funny stories because ridiculous things happen in the classroom every day. And it sounds like you had an extra ridiculous school. So when you are talking to your friends and they're asking about what's something funny that happened, what comes to your mind?
Okay. So this is perfect for the episode because we're going to tie it back to Shakespeare.
Nice.
Yes.
So like I was saying, most of my students had zero theater experience, had not seen a play before, had no idea who Shakespeare was, all that stuff. So my sixth graders, it's the first couple weeks of school, and some of my sixth graders asked me if we're gonna do Romeo and Juliet in class, and I try to be the person that's well, what do you think of that? Instead of being no, we're definitely not doing so. So I asked them, I was like, well, I don't know. Do you know what it's about? And they were like, no. And I was like, okay. So I tell them, a little bit about it. I'm like, yeah, well, there's these two teenagers and they're really, really in love. And, automatically they were like, oh no, never mind. And I'm like, yeah, their families don't like each other. They really don't like each other. And ends up some couple people in the different families die, and it gets a little pretty sad. And they were like, "Yeah, that sounds awful. We shouldn't do that one." I was like, "Oh, great." So
I recently broke it to my class. I do a quote every week by a different author, and so it was Shakespeare this last week. And I give them a little background, tell them a little bit about the author, just to introduce them, and they see the faces and know a little bit. And so Shakespeare, we talked about Romeo and Juliet, and I was like, yeah, people always forget that Juliet was 13, which makes that whole thing way less romantic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a very good chance Shakespeare is like, hey, look at these stupid kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
He just wrote it thinking about his two daughters, see how they can be?
Alrighty. Well, I think, is there any more? Did you have anything else you wanted to share or tell us? We do want to say, that, Miss Drama does have a Teachers Pay Teachers, page, and we're going to put the link in the show notes. So you just, open your phone back up that you're listening to and click on the little blue thing that says what teachers pay teachers or whatever it says, and it'll take you there. Is it mostly drama stuff that you have on there, or what is it that you have in your little store?
Mm-hmm. So I have all kinds of stuff. I have stuff for drama. I have stuff for debate. I have stuff for public speaking. I have stuff for student teaching. I have stuff for substitute teaching, both for subs and for teachers to give to subs.
Okay.
And I feel like there's one more thing. Oh, and I'm currently working on units and curriculum specifically for competitive speech and debate. So like interpretation and like just stuff through an SDA, which is National Speech and Debate Association. Let's see. Yeah, that's kind of how I roll.
You should get a job making curriculum.
Yes.
Yes, I also have a blog. It's also called The Drama Goat, so everything is Drama Goat.
Okay, so if they just Google Drama Goat, they will find you.
I hope so, yeah.
Okay.
Well, the link to the blog will also be in the show notes.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we want to say thank you again. We really do appreciate, you know what I mean? And hopefully this was more cathartic than traumatic.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not traumatized. I'm immune now.
Okay.
Traumatized. She taught this. Yeah.
Awesome. And just thanks again for everyone for listening. And like I said, you can reach out to us and let us know that you enjoyed it or whatever. And please tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your loved ones, tell the guy who delivers your pizza that there's an awesome podcast that they should listen to, and share the link however you want to do it. And as we always say, stay unprofessional.
Oh.
All right. Thank you, and stay unprofessional. Stay unprofessional. Stay unprofessional.